Hello my Highlander peeps, this is Kat aka Kakebot, and today I am bringing you, finally, at last, a guide to Inverness. Now Inverness, you probably know, is the capital of Scottish Highlands. It is also UK's northernmost city, and it has some cool new stuff going on. Yes, finally, this past winter 26, we have seen the Inverness Castle reopen. It is not a court or prison anymore. It is now an actual visitor experience, and we are finally gonna visit it for this video, but also for me. I am really curious. We're gonna do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. There's bits that are the more obvious things to do in Inverness, some bits that maybe you didn't think about doing. I'm gonna share some tips for coffee and treats, and hopefully this is gonna help you plan your stay here in Inverness, because I imagine many of you are gonna be stopping by here either during your trip around Loch Ness or your trip around the Highlands in general, or maybe this is gonna be your first or last stop on the North Coast 500. Don't forget, we made a great series of videos on the NC 500. Still the best videos on this channel, and nobody's watching them. Good content, good weather, great Scotland stuff. That's enough promoting of what I've already done in the past. Let's get excited for what I'm gonna show you today. Let's go explore Inverness.
Inverness is often people's base for exploring the Highlands, which means a lot of people miss out on everything there is to do, and I gotta say, I was really surprised by just how much the city has to offer. The River Ness makes for a really nice walk. You can take a circular 3-kilometer route, which I hear is especially cute in the autumn. But we are starting in the historical centre, where I always like to have a little browse through Leakey's bookshop. This is the largest second-hand bookshop in the whole of Scotland, and it's been around since the 70s. Great for finding some good old-timey sci-fi or even cool original prints to take home as a one-of-a-kind souvenir. Just behind it, you will also find a cemetery where people like to come say hi to a Jamie Fraser, just in case you're an Outlander fan. This is the Old High Church burial ground, and it has a bit of a dark history. After the Battle of Culloden, many wounded Jacobites were first kept in the church itself and later executed in the cemetery.
My time has finally come. I finally get to see what's inside of the Inverness Castle, because as I mentioned briefly at the start of this video, this castle in its sort of modern history has been used as a court. Previously, more of a traditional castle. I think that in like 11th century it started as a stronghold, then in the 15th century it was the first iteration of an actual stone castle, and now it is an interactive experience. So it looks nice in photographs, so hopefully it's gonna be fun for you to watch through the medium of my camera. But yeah, I'm actually really curious if I'm gonna learn anything new about the Highland culture and crafts and history. It is £20 to get in, which to me is quite expensive, especially if you're visiting with a family, but it is kind of the standard for any castle in Scotland where you have to pay. But don't worry, in this video I will take you to multiple places where you don't have to pay anything. So yeah, stick to me. I will show you all of the Scroogey attractions also. Okay, now our ticket is time slotted for 11:30, which is in like 1 minute. So let's go explore Inverness Castle at last.
The new Inverness Castle experience is an interesting one. After the multi-million-pound renovations, we are looking at something quite unique and perhaps a little difficult to market. This, by the way, is not me saying it's not worth your time or money, just that it's maybe more of an adults-only venture. There is a lot of poetry to how the exhibition is conceptualized, a lot of meditation upon what it means to be a Highlander, and also reflections on how some Highlanders who were once pushed from their homes ended up doing the same to indigenous peoples of other areas. But yes, there is also a beautiful view from the tower over most of the city and the bay and the nice gardens. There's a cool restaurant and a cafe. I hear the afternoon tea is lovely. An exhibition on Highlander rock music and also the tapestry of the Highlands and Islands. We even ran into some older ladies who were actually the authors of some of the pieces, which was really cute. You can also simply pop around and enjoy the lovely new gardens around the castle. Those are free, and honestly, this place has been under scaffolding for so long that any of this feels like a treat. It is ran by a local charity called High Life, so the 20 quid is going to the local community, making this decision perhaps a little easier. Right next to the castle, you will find an entirely free Inverness museum and art gallery, which has a plenty to learn about local history, especially Bonnie Prince Charlie, who had a lot more charm than he had actual leadership skills. Once again, a chance to remind yourself to not just follow the pretty face. Although, I mean, the original idea was a good one, but it did not work out. There are also some nice bits on the local fauna, and most recently, quite a fascinating little exhibition of sculptures that are like a knitted weave made out of a single piece of wood. A lot of people sleep on the fact that the Highlands have their own sport, and you can learn all about it here at the Inverness Shinty Museum called Shinty's Story. Shinty is a little like field hockey, but has slightly rougher rules. There is some tackling and such allowed, arguably making for a more fun watch. If you're an Outlander fan, there is a scene in the series where Jamie plays Shinty, which the museum will remind you about. Overall, a lovely little museum next to the local Shinty playing field, very new and clean and surprisingly more fun than expected. If you're a fan of sports and are looking for something free to do on a rainy day, maybe give this a go.
Oh no, did you get lost? This is not Inverness. This is my favorite viewpoint over Loch Ness. Okay, if you made it all the way here, then that must have been quite the hike, so you deserve a treat. Also, if you didn't make it all the way here, or if you drove here, you still deserve a treat. We all deserve treats every day, all day, all the time. For this part of the video, I have compiled a little list of places that I've tried before and I really like to get treats at, be it lunchy treats, coffee treats, bakery treats, and I'm gonna take you there right now.
The Inverness Victorian Market is a big favorite for visitors, and I see why. It is a very pretty space, and the local food hall really has something for everyone. It's busy, but there is a fast enough turnaround. You will find vegan food, local liquors, award-winning bakes, a little bit of everything. I had the vegan dandan noodles, which were honestly quite overcooked, but the flavors really hit the spot. I was quite hungry by this point, so I welcomed the dandan sludge, yum yum, plus some Middle Eastern dips, really nice flavors there. You can also pick up some souvenirs within the arcade and even see some interesting pieces of taxidermy. Also, fun maybe fact, this is the second iteration of the market because when they built the first one, it actually burned down really, really quickly. So yeah, they didn't need to build a second version, which is where you are at now in this video with me. Perk seems to be everyone's favorite in the city. Donuts and coffee by the day and cocktails in the evening. Perfect. Also, banging toasties. Behold. Choco was a new one for me, but it seems to also rank very high on the list for many locals and visitors. These guys are famous for two things: Mexican food and pastries. As my head correctly predicted, my choice for today was banana bread, and it was indeed very good, just like all of the Mexican treats we had for our lunch. And as a bonus, I even got to share lunch with Ellen Cumming. Birch might sound familiar if you've ever been to Isle of Skye, because this award-winning cafe has a second branch in Portree, a small cafe without a bathroom, so maybe the best for a nice artisanal takeaway flat white. alley is a larger coffee shop right under the castle. I believe it's relatively new, but I really enjoy the food, the coffee, the atmosphere here. It's a bit more spacious, so, you can just spend more time here, maybe in a slightly larger group. As a little bonus, Cool Runnings, a Jamaican eatery that's been around since my first visit to Inverness, and honestly, if you fancy some good spices, you'll have to pop in here. I didn't make it this time, sad about that, but you have to trust me, it is so good.
Okay, so now I'm reporting from the Inverness Marina. We have another thing for your list to do in the city for you, which is going on a dolphin spotting trip. Now, I don't know if we're gonna see dolphins, but I have done some research. I found out that the dolphins are the most likely to be seen in the summer when they feed on salmon, and also about 1 hour after the lowest tide, which is kind of about now. It's 10:30 in the morning. Now you will have to look that up first before you're booking if you want to maximize your chances, but that's what I've done. Google it and then pick the timing of the boat journey accordingly. They do 3 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 just after midday, and 1 kind of later in the afternoon. It is 10:30 in the morning now. The weather has taken a turn for the worse, but we'll prevail and hopefully be rewarded for that.
At first, I wasn't sure how lucky we'd get. The guides are very clear on not being able to guarantee anything, and yeah, that makes all the sense, they don't control the dolphins. But after about 40 minutes of cruising towards Chanonry Point, here they were. So many lovely, lively, excited dolphins just feeding on fish so close to both the boat and the land. So if you have a car on hand, you could even just save yourself some money and drive to Chanonry Point, which is a lovely stop at the start of North Coast 500, and you would probably get to see them quite up close this time of year at rising tide. For the more flora-centric lovers of nature, peep this beautiful free botanical garden. Sure, it is quite bijou, it was only built in the 90s, but it really packs a lot of magnificent greenery in this small space. There's a cafe in one of the glass houses, and this time of the year, the amount of wildflowers to take cute pictures with is phenomenal. Now this, I'd say, is a great place to bring kids because it's small but kind of dense with cool things to see and do and learn from, and also some extra roaming space, so yeah, consider that. I will end my video here at the Tomnahurich cemetery. We drove around it multiple times until I simply had to beg Simon to stop and let me explore. This is a 19th century cemetery with a lovely prominent hill covered in trees and, most importantly, a majestic view over both the River Ness and the city. This is quite unlike any other cemeteries in Scotland I've seen, and trust me, I pop into most I come across. It's gonna be so beautiful in autumn. I am already plotting taking the bus to Inverness just to see this place in colourful leaves.
And so we are finishing on a bit of a wet note, but such is the way of life and visiting the Highlands, I guess. This has been a really fun trip for both of us. I have to say this was the first time ever that we really prioritized Inverness as the location. Even though we didn't actually stay in Inverness, we stayed at the White Bridge Hotel next to the lake. next to Loch Ness, which was the second time of us visiting. I can only recommend that place. I'm going to be making a little short video about the hotel stay in the future, so, you know, stay tuned. Yeah, but it was so fun to really delve deep into what Inverness specifically has to offer. Some little hidden gems and some things that are maybe a bit more obvious, some things that are almost brand new. So yeah, it was a good wide range of things to do and enjoy here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you took some inspiration out of it for your next visit to the Highlands. Let me know what you would add to this list, which places you ate at. Maybe you have some ideas for like specifically Scottish food, which is not something that we've really covered. So if that's something you have any ideas for, let us know in the comment section. And that's the end of this video for now. Don't forget that this channel already has some videos on visiting Loch Ness and Loch Lomond and just like a whole bunch of cool things to do. A lot of tips and vlogs from not just the cities of Scotland, so do check it out, please. if you enjoyed this one. More of the similar is on my channel. You can also see even more content on my Patreon. This is the address. If you become a patron, you unlock now 20 plus bonus videos. Some of them are from Scotland, some of them are from further abroad, some of them are more talky, some of them are more travel vloggy, so a bit of everything. You can also say hi to me on Instagram, KakiBot for my illustrations and cosplay silliness, Kaki blog for my travels around Scotland. So yeah, that is it. Those are all the places you can find me outside of my YouTube channel. And I'm getting very wet, so I gotta go and get in the car now. And I shall see you soon. Bye.